Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming to today's announcement of our new volleyball head coach. Today we have Deane Webb with me, our new volleyball coach, and Jim Schaus, our athletic director here at Ohio University. We ask that all questions be reserved for media members only, and we ask that you please at this time silence your cell phones so that the press conference is not interrupted. Without further delay, I'd like to introduce our athletic director, Jim Schaus.
Thank you very much. What a great group we got here today. Thanks for a lot of our fans and staff and people in the community coming out today to welcome our new head volleyball coach. This is definitely a great day to be a Bobcat. When you get an opportunity to hire a new coach, it's an awfully exciting time. And I always feel like there are certain times in a sport's history that are defining. You can look back and you can say, this one thing happened, and it took this program to a completely different place it's never been before. Today, I believe, is one of those days for our volleyball program. Today is the day that will be defining. I think we will look back and see something very special that's taken place with the hiring of Deane Webb as our new volleyball coach. I want to talk real quickly about a little bit on the process that I took in hiring this coach. This might give you some insight and why I think Deane is a great fit for what we were looking for and what we need here at Ohio University. First of all, I really wanted to focus a little bit on a head coach. Head coach is really important to us because we have a mature program that people like Jeff Carlston and Ryan Tice did a tremendous job in building this program. But now we're looking to not just stay where we are. We're looking to build this program to a new and higher level of excellence. And to do that, a head coach is somebody that has been successful. They've been successful. That's what we really need here. Somebody that understands what it means to win, to be able to understand how to juggle all the balls that a head coach has to be able to do. There's an advantage to that sometimes for an assistant coach that has never done it before. So that was something very important to us. Obviously, we have a mature program and we wanted to win even at a higher level. Deane brings 17 years of head coaching experience here at 3 different schools, in addition to Belmont, East Tennessee State, and Indiana Wesleyan. So great success at those programs. We've never hired a volleyball coach with this amount of success when they've come here. So again, I think it has a lot to do with where our program has gone and the people in the past that helped us get there, so we're greatly appreciative of what they've done. In his time, he's won multiple Coach of the Year awards. Those are the kind of things that you expect from successful coaches. And I have a tremendous amount of respect for Belmont. It's a tremendous athletic program. But I will say here, because of the level of our volleyball program today, we have resources that Deane's not been able to be a part of. And I think taking a coach with his background and experience to a program that is mature like ours, I think the world is our oyster. So I'm very, very excited about that. Postseason success is important as a head coach, so he's won 3 conference championships, been to the NCAA tournament 3 times. I wanted to coach, again, because of the level and maturity of our program, who's seen what that looks like. That's what we're about. We're about every year being in a contention to win a MAC championship, every year to be in the NCAA tournament, and every year competing to win games in the NCAA tournament. That's what we've been in the last decade, and that's what we expect to be in the future. Very important to be familiar with the recruiting process. I was looking for that they knew our area. It's a big, big plus. Good coaches can come in from outside and learn it, but Deane has developed those networks, high school coaches, club coaches in the Midwest region. As many of you know, Ohio and moving over to Chicago and this whole Midwest area is one of the top volleyball areas in the country. And so right in our backyard, Deane has really good relationships there. Part of his current 214 class, his class for next year at Belmont included 2 AVCA All-Americans, which means they're top 100 recruits. So Deane obviously has great experience in recruiting. It was important for me to find somebody that was well respected in the industry as well as within their department. And we do a lot of homework. We start with a lot of internet research. We talk to a lot of coaches in this process. It's a lot of work, but you got to be diligent to make sure that you're getting the right fit. everyone I talked to, I mean, I talked to many, many head coaches all over the country. Every single person every time basically said, great guy, great coach. Just, you'd be great to hire him. Heard nothing negative. We did a lot of work. Amy, Deane, and our staff and I also made a lot of calls, talked to people in his athletic department, in his conference. We talked to different coaches on his staff, and all they're saying, like, do a great job with the student athletes, cares about academics, just tremendous in the community. You got to have him. We'd hate to lose him. And so that was important to me. Deane's also very active in the volleyball community. So he's been a national speaker at their convention. He's served on the voting committee for the top 25 nationally. So he's well known, well respected. I think the last thing that was really important to me is the student athlete, and certainly not in that order. During the search at the beginning of this, I spent time with the team, and I asked them the type of coach they were looking for, what was important to them. The student athletes are not part of the search per se in terms of interviewing, but it really matters to me what they're looking for. And there was a number of things that they mentioned that Deane was a great fit with. First of all, and it's also very important to us and our staff, is finding a coach that understands successful program culture. What I mean by that is a coach that can come in and juggle the 15 balls a coach has to juggle. Building relationships with the student athlete, how to mentor your assistant coaching staff, academics, budget, media, fans, all the things that you got to do. It's more than just coaching and recruiting. It's much bigger than that, and it requires a lot of organization and the right personality. And so everybody I talked to, when I said, what's the temperament of this coach? Sometimes you can have a coach that is just a little over the top in terms of how they treat the student athletes. That's not going to work for us. That's not the right path. So those are things I heard from our student athletes, things that were important to them, they're important to us. Having a coach that understands the balance of motivating and having discipline in their program, and at the same time building a quality relationship where the student athletes really care and like that coach. Very, very important. Academically, obviously, it's extremely important at Ohio University with our academic standards. Deane's had multiple times where his teams have been in the top 20 nationally GPA-wise. And I think the most important thing that I was impressed with, besides all the accolades that I've mentioned, is the kind of person he is. And really, talking about his family, his wife Becky, his daughters Sarah Faith and Ashlyn Hope. I don't know if you're watching me on the web stream, but we're looking forward to having you here and being part of the Bobcat family. Deane's a person of faith. He's a person of integrity. Every single person I talked to, those kind of things came out. How did he treat his student athletes? How was he perceived by fans? What kind of a person is he? And so we were very diligent, and going through that really excited me. It mattered a lot to our team what type of a person that coach was. So, I'm just delighted. I'm excited. I've been fortunate enough to spend a lot of years hiring coaches, and this was just another example of one of the best coaches I think we'll ever bring here. Just excited about what he brings for all the things I just mentioned. So, Deane, you can tell I'm getting fired up about you, and I know that you're going to be a guy who's going to, well, he's not going to have any difficulty kind of getting fired up. So a few days ago, he was a little under the weather, so he impressed me. He was a trooper, kind of fought through it, but he's got the green tie on. You got to like that. So he's right on top of it. So anyway, it's really my pleasure to introduce our new head women's volleyball coach, Deane Webb.
Well, thank you all for being here. I appreciate you all coming out and supporting our program in this way today. I'd like to send a very special thank you to those that were important in the hiring process, Jim Schaus, Amy Deane, Dan Hauser, the remainder of the search committee, that many people that I met with. Really appreciate the opportunity just to be here at Ohio University. Had a chance to meet with Dr. McDavis during my time here, and wanted to extend a very special thank you to him. Really, it was a true joy to spend half an hour with him in his office and learning about him and his vision for the university and his passion and love for Ohio University and Ohio University athletics, which is so apparent. And that was a true joy to be a part of that. And so I appreciate all of you giving me this opportunity, and it truly is an opportunity to be here. As I've told Jim through this process, it was a very quick process, and it was a bit of a whirlwind. I was 10, 11 days ago, I think I was recruiting out on the West Coast at Las Vegas, and woke up one morning to an email from Ohio, from Jim, and at first it was like, okay, and I guess the question would be, why come to Ohio? And then after I started talking and I started learning, it very quickly became, why would anyone not come to Ohio? And the more I learned about it, I mean, I came out here on an interview because of the volleyball, but I'm staying because of the people, and I'm staying because of the community, and I'm staying because of what volleyball is right now in this community, how it is supported, what we believe it can be. I'm excited and honored to follow a legacy of a great deal of success. I've had a couple of coaches, both Jeff and Ryan, that have poured their heart into this program, that have built it into what it is today, and I'm honored to start from there. And I think that's one of the things that is so exciting to me is I've never gone to a program that started at this position. 2 of the 3 schools that I've gone to and started, they'd never had a winning season. It was literally starting from the absolute beginning. And so it's very exciting to come in and not feel like an entire overhaul is needed, but coming in and just hear a few things we want to address, some improvements we want to make, take what's been built over all these years, and then take it to a new level. And that couldn't have happened without all the student athletes that have come before, that have worked so hard to put this program to where it is today. Some of the things that really were attractive to me, I mean, there are not very many programs in the entire country that can say they were ranked in the top 25 at some point last year, and they're top 25 in attendance. And that's exciting. If you're a coach, that's exciting to be in that environment, to be there and know that's the kind of support that you have. If you're a recruit anywhere in the country, that's exciting. I mean, why would you not want to be a part of this? Be a part of this environment, go in there and have 1,700 fans that are fired up about Bobcat volleyball, and being there and cheering you on and supporting you, and then of course being in a college town. If you're a college student athlete, what a great place to go to school, to really get to enjoy your college experience. I've met so many people, even through this process, that they're Ohio grads, that just even seemingly running into someone. I was leaving the interview and I was sitting there about to fly out and sitting next to someone who was the pilot of the plane, so I was hoping he knew what he was doing. And he heard me talking to my wife about the trip and how much I enjoyed it. And he said, well, I overheard, sorry, but I went to Ohio, and let me just tell you how great it is. And everybody I've talked to, I have a brother-in-law, actually, that was a student athlete here a number of years ago, and just what an incredible experience that he had. Everybody I've talked to, literally every single person, had a great experience at Ohio. And that, to me, is just so important, because you don't want to go somewhere as a coach that you're just selling a little part of it. You want to sell all of it. You want to sell, hey, this is a great place to play volleyball, look at these fans, but yes, look at this university, and look at 250 majors, and look in a college town, and we can be proud as an athletic staff and as a coach that we want you to come here. And you're going to have a great experience. You're going to love it here, and we can feel great about talking to those parents about, we're going to take care of your daughter, and they're going to love it here. We're going to challenge them to be great, but we're going to love on them while they're here. And we have the support and the culture to do that. So again, I'm thrilled to be here. I'm honored to be your coach. Thank you again for having me, and glad to answer any questions that you may have.
Coach, you mentioned you're a program builder. What's different about the process now that the program's already been built, or at least partially built?
Sure. I think the big thing is just understanding as a coach is you don't have to come in and overhaul. And I explained that with the players, had a chance to speak with them about an hour ago. I had a wonderful meeting with them. It's just there are some things that I've identified. I've watched about 10 matches or so far, and we talked about in the locker room. They asked what are the first couple of weeks going to be like, and I explained to them it's a lot of assessing right now. It's a lot of evaluating. I've watched on video. Now I need to see it in person, and we have some ideas, some tweaks we want to do, and some improvements that we want to make, but they're minor. And that's what's exciting. It's just knowing that many things are already in place to be great, to move from great to exceptional, and now we want to make those small changes, allow our team, allow our players to get all the way bought in to what we're doing, and then of course move to the next level.
Coach, can you talk about your recruiting philosophy a little bit? What you look for in a student athlete, and some of your values in that regard?
Sure. I think, well, you mentioned it, student athlete. That's incredibly important. If we have someone that's an incredible athlete but is not a good student, then that's not a good recruit. If we have someone that just doesn't fit us, not everyone fits everywhere, and that's okay. and that's important for me as a coach. I mean, I wouldn't come here unless I fit here. I mean, I've been in a school for 11 years, and I literally have not applied for another job in 11 years. I'm not someone that's going and looking. If I'm going to go somewhere, it has to fit. And the same for student athletes. We have to find people who want to be here, that just can't wait to get to Ohio and get fired up about being here. I think fit for our university is just incredibly important. Who they are as people are important. I have 2 daughters that are about to be 12 and 9 years old. Sarah and Ashlyn, if you're watching, hello. But when we recruit people, they're big sisters to my daughters. And that's a privilege, and that's an opportunity, and it's a responsibility. And I'm not going to recruit anybody to come here unless I feel they're going to be good role models. Not just for my daughters, but all the other children in the community. We're going to have kids that come to matches. And the kid that is getting an autograph the night before is going to see you around town the next day. And carrying yourself in a way that honors Ohio University and honors our volleyball team, that's the kind of kids that we want. Obviously, we are, right now, we're in the middle of a volleyball hotbed. And I started my coaching career in the Midwest and built a very successful small school or NAI program with kids from the Midwest, from Ohio and Illinois and Indiana and Western Pennsylvania. And so knowing that there's so many areas to draw from that have very, very good volleyball, that's exciting. Doesn't mean we'll limit ourselves to that. We'll get kids from all over the country. But knowing that so many of them are right here, that's exciting. That's wonderful. But they have to fit. I think that's a big, big piece. And when they do that, they'll get here and the sky's the limit for their career. Thank you.
How would you describe your style, philosophy in general terms?
Sure. I believe there are several things I really believe in. From the technical side of things, I really, first ball contact is very, very important. I believe in serving very, very aggressively. We have, at the school that I'm leaving, we've been top 10 in the country in aces per game 5 out of the last 7 years. And we really, really value that part of the game. Now, I will tell you, just like if you have a basketball team that lives and dies by the 3, there's the second part of that, the die by the 3. Every once in a while, we will have a game that 4 people are off on the same night, and when you serve that aggressively, those nights are a little painful, and you better be good in some other areas to catch up for it. But you'll also beat some teams that are a lot bigger than you, that are a lot more athletic than you are, because our game, when you pass the ball 10 or 12 feet off the net, it's amazing how much easier it gets to defend. And so that's a part that I think is very, very important. I believe in running a fast offense, being very diverse in the way that we attack. There are some things that I talked to the team about, wanting to speed up our offense slightly in a couple of key areas. I'll have to really do a little more evaluation to know exactly what we can or can't do. There'll be minor changes that allow us to get some better one-on-one opportunities for our hitters. But I won't get too far into the volleyball jargon. I kind of, I go down that road pretty quickly. I think as far as philosophy, I think the thing you need to know is it's about the kids. And it's about them. And that's what I really explained. And maybe that's because I've been a head coach for 17 years and they keep saying experience and all that. And I told the team, it makes me sound really old. I'm really not that old. But I got my first college head coaching job when I was 24. And so those years of experience, it just changes you. And really, hopefully early in my career, but certainly somewhere along the way, it became a lot less about me and a lot more about them. And you'll see in every championship picture I was ever a part of, well, you won't see me. I'm not in the picture. It's the team. And whenever we win championships and get ready to earn some more hardware, it's going to be about them. And it's celebrating their successes. They only have 4 years to come, to be great and enjoy it. I have a whole career to enjoy that. And so really pushing that back on the student athletes, making sure they have a wonderful experience, not just on the court, but in life, and wanting them to just develop as students, develop as people, grow in every aspect of their life. I was talking to one of the 2014 incoming players yesterday, and she was telling me about her kind of career aspirations, what she wanted to do after college, and we started talking about that, what it could be, and that's exciting, just to be a part of that. And I think other than that, just pushing our players. Obviously, there's a time to do that, but doing that in a positive way, and knowing that there's a time to explain, there's a time to push, there's a time to inspire. There's all these different parts, obviously, that come into coaching, but it comes to knowing your players and knowing what they need at that time to go to the next level. Thank you.
Coach, as far as the recruiting process goes,
Sure.
do you kind of keep what Coach Tice had coming in? You said you were out west. Assuming 2 weeks ago you were recruiting for Belmont, do you
Sure.
try and sway them to come to OU now, or how do you go about that?
Sure, we definitely honor the kids that have committed here. That's important. It's important that you do that as people, important you do that as a university, and they're great players. It happens because they're in the Midwest, and I've seen almost every one of these players play already. I was talking to one of them yesterday for the first time, and I told her, I've seen you play many times. I watched you play last year. You're a great player. I look forward to coaching you. And you could almost, from how many miles away I was when I had the conversation, you could just hear the sigh of relief on the other side. It's like, oh, thank goodness. I was so afraid you weren't going to like me, and then it wasn't going to work out. And I said, oh, goodness, no, you're great. You're going to be great here. And so it's knowing the kid. I know most of these kids already, not all of them. Certainly didn't make a trip up to Canada and see one of our incoming players, but they've recruited a number of great players here over the years, and the next couple of classes that have already committed are no exception. So we're looking forward to building relationships with them, getting to know them a little bit yesterday, and we'll continue to do so. And then, of course, when they're here in Athens, become a part of our Bobcat family, then go to the next level with them, helping them learn and grow and really advance, again, not just as players, but just as people. That's one of the things I explained to the team. Obviously, we want to win, and we're going to get some hardware, and we all enjoy that. But if all we do in 4 years is put 4 banners in the gym, and all we do is get some big game balls that we all sign, then I've failed you as a coach. And it really is that important that they grow in every part of their life. Thank you.